the World Economic Forum is a problem, but what it represents is the deeper cancer. Okay, what it represents is a different worldview. This is interesting. I'm going to describe it first in neutral terms, and then I'll describe what my issue with it, okay? There are two worldviews of how a society organizes its political and economic affairs. One of those worldviews existed for most of human history, okay, dating back to before the American Revolution. This was how most of the world operated. It's how old world Europe operated. It was this, that people as citizens cannot be trusted to get to the right answer for themselves about how to answer their most pressing economic and political disagreements. And so we have to make those decisions centrally, as elites, church leaders, labor leaders, business leaders getting together behind closed doors and making those decisions for the rest of society at large. In 1776, we made a different decision in this country. What we said was that for better or worse, I'll say that again because that's a crucial part of the bargain. For better or worse, we settle our disagreements in a different way. The way we settle our disagreements is through free speech and open debate in the public square where every citizen's voice and vote counts equally. And sometimes we'll get it right, and sometimes we'll get it wrong. If we get it wrong, we get the guys who got it wrong in office elected out, and then we put the right ones in. That's how our system works. That was a 1776 question. It's not a Democrat question, a liberal question, a conservative question. It was a 1776 question. What the World Economic Forum today represents is the rise of that now ancient question. Do we believe in the old world vision that citizens cannot be trusted as stewards of, say, their planet, which, if left to their own devices, the citizens would leave uninhabitable because of existential global climate change threats? Or do we believe in the power of citizens to settle this through a democratic process rather than handing that power over to a small group of corporatocratic autocrats, the modern version of monarchs and aristocrats sitting in ski towns atop the mountaintops of Davos? That is what it represents, not the hypocrisy that I've written about from time to time, the joking matter of the amusement park they set up that gives Sheryl Sandberg and Larry Fink the ability to, they dress up like refugees and then they go through a theme park that gives them a refugee experience for a few hours. That's the stuff we laugh at on television, but that's not the real problem. The real problem is what it represents, is the old world vision and the new world vision. And you know what? We had that debate in 1776. I hope we have it this time around with knowledge and with words, rather than the way that got settled in 1776. But I'll tell you this, that is the vision of the Great Reset in the World Economic Forum of Davos. You might hear that term. What does the Great Reset mean? I'll define it the same way its proponents define it. They define it as the dissolution of boundaries, dissolving boundaries between the public and private sector and between nations, and increasingly between the online and offline world, to address shared global challenges. In response to the Great Reset, if we don't fix this problem, is what I will call the Great Uprising. We're seeing it in Western Europe. We're seeing it in Brazil. We're seeing it with the truckers in Canada last year. We're seeing it here in the United States. We're seeing it people taking to the streets of Australia. I see those two forces are on a collision course, the Great Reset, the Great Uprising. And I think that we would do well to revive, for example, our culture of free speech and the channels of debate as citizen, to make sure that they don't hit each other head on, or else we're going to live in one of those moments like we did in 1776 when it's not words but force that settles it. But I hope we don't get there, and I'm very hopeful that the way this story ends is through actual revival of respect for the voice of the citizen. And I'm optimistic that many of us, not just those in government, but those even in the private sector, those leading companies, are able to give voices for everyday citizens' voices to be heard, both through the economy and through our politics. And the World Economic Forum is a great prompt to reflect on it.